What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the studio. Welcome back to the channel. So a couple days ago, I was talking about a game that was announced for the Nintendo Switch 2 called DuskBlood. Now, DuskBlood is an exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. I gotta get that out there for y'all real quick, because I've seen some people asking, this just can't be a Switch game. This has to be on all consoles. Now, it is specifically a Switch 2 title. It's exclusive to that title. But if you need more clarification on if it's going to be an exclusive or not, they actually did have a sit-down interview with Miyazaki about said game, and I'll leave it in the description below so you guys can go read it for yourself. But he kind of goes in depth on what the game is going to be about. I want to say in depth, but he does talk about what the game's going to be about, what is the play style, what's the gameplay, and all that kind of stuff. Now, at the beginning, when I first saw the game, I was hyped because Elden Ring did make me a fan. It did make me a believer of From Software games. But with recent things that's been going on, like with Night Rain being a multiplayer game type of battle royale, a lot of people were thinking that, is this where From Software, is this the route they're trying to take to where they're making multiplayer games? Now, I see no issue with multiplayer games because, hey, some people don't really like playing by themselves, but I also understand wholeheartedly and truthfully why people want single player games. Like, for myself, for example, I play single player games. Majority of the games I do play are single player games. Now, I know somebody gonna be all like, oh, you ain't got no friends? Oh no, I got tons of friends. Matter of fact, a lot of friends are the reasons why I am a single player game type guy, because of the fact they suggest, hey, play this game, play this game, play this game. They have to be single player. But that's the same thing that From Software has been known to do. A lot of the games are single player. Now, even though that's not entirely true, because you can summon people to help you in certain games, like for example Elden Ring, I was using the summon people to help me beat certain bosses all the time. So I don't see why people were so bent out of shape about it, but it is what it is. So we're gonna go over the stuff that Miyazaki said in this, and also I will bring up the article, bits and pieces of the article throughout the video and stuff. So yeah, so the first question they asked him was, first off, please tell us what led to this title being developed for Nintendo Switch 2. But like I said, it's just exclusively for the Switch 2. A while back, we had the opportunity to meet with Nintendo to discuss ideas, and during this discussion, we presented a rough outline for Duskbloods. It was still very bare bones at the time, more a loose string of ideas than a proper presentation. The concept itself was different from anything we had done before, and Nintendo seemed very interested in helping make it a reality. So that's when the project kicked off. At first, it was being worked on by a small team as a title for Nintendo Switch. However, just as the game started to take shape, we were approached by Nintendo with a talk of Switch 2, which led us to revamp our development path with this new hardware in mind. The new hardware focused on online features allowed us to stay as true to the original vision as possible, which was very good news for us. So they had a vision. And since the Nintendo Switch is going to be heavy on online now, which I find weird, we're in the year of 2025 and the Switch finally has voice chat. I thought that was wild. Like, how hyped people were for the voice chat was just bonkers to me. Did you always have some desire to make a PvPvE type game? Now, this is the part that, I think it's seeing a lot of people complain about, because parts of me is like, I understand, but other parts of me is kind of like, is it really that deep, honestly? Like, you could be down there fighting an NPC, right? And you could just be really giving the NPC the hands, so like really putting in work on the NPC. And then out of nowhere, here comes Billy Bob, who spawned right into the same lobby that you're in, or same world you're in, and he sees that you're fighting an NPC. Well, instead of helping you, he helps the NPC jump you, or helps you jump the NPC, or he doesn't give a shit. He's gonna fight the both of y'all. So I can see this happening. This happens a lot in a lot of MMOs that allow you to fight other players. But like Elden Ring, for example, when you usually summon somebody, or you trying to go through a dungeon with somebody, usually when you're trying to summon them, usually summon somebody that's going to interfere in your game as well, and those got annoying hella fast. But like I said, did you always have some desire to make a PvPvE type games? Trying to say that 10 times fast. Yes, I've always found the PvPvE structure very interesting. It allows for a broad range of game design ideas while also letting us leverage our experience of design challenging enemy encounters. As a side note, please allow me to address one thing. As previous mentioned, this is an online multiplayer title at its core, but this doesn't mean that we as a company have decided to shift to a more multiplayer focused direction with titles going forward. So I'm glad he nailed that first. He had to make that clear. Like, just because this game and the last game, Night Rain, are multiplayer focused does not mean that's what we're gonna keep doing from here on out. We pretty much, they're trying something new. They're trying something different. They're going out of their wheelhouse. They're doing something that they never done before, and they're trying it out. They're going to see what the fans think. If the fans don't like it, they might not do it no more. This might be the only gaming developer I can think of who wants to try something new. And if the fans don't like it, now this is a big maybe. If the fans don't like it, they'll be all like, all right, so we can't try this no more because see, it tanked, or the fans just wasn't eating it up, which is fine. Which is perfectly fine. I'm all for these game developers trying something totally different and totally new. And that's why I'm actually kind of hyped for the game a little bit, because I'm like, it's something different. You know what I'm saying? Please tell us about the game's characters and settings. Now, this is the part that I feel like everybody, I wouldn't say got mad, but I'm like, I would say that this is where people kind of say this is kind of like a hero shooter in a way. I'll just read it off for y'all and go from there. So pretty much, the game's protagonists or characters controlled by the player are known as the Bloodsworn. The Bloodsworn are a group whose members have achieved superhuman abilities through the powers of the special blood. As a great concept, they're similar to vampires, but they are not portrayed as the horrifying monsters you might associate with traditional vampirism. We try to extract that sort of romantic aspect we found interesting from the concepts such as vampires and blood, and reinterpreted them into Bloodsworn. So pretty much, he was saying that if you think of vampires, so when I think of vampires, I don't think of romantic aspects from them at all. I think of Dusk Till Dawn. I think of Dracula. I think of Castlevania. I think when we think of vampires, I think of that. But I think when some people think of vampires, they think of Twilight. Sparkly vampires, those kind of guys. Which, understandable. I'm not gonna knock you for that if that's the first thing that comes to mind. That's just not the first thing that comes to my mind. I just think of those really nasty vampires, like the vampires Blade fought. So it depends on who you are. If when it comes to vampires. In the Duskbloods, the Bloodsworn are competing for something known as the First Blood. As human society reaches an end, First Blood flows in an event known as the Twilight of Humanity. The Bloodsworn are summoned to the Twilight of Humanity across a variety of different times and places in a bid to obtain First Blood. Due to this, there is no fixed era or location in which the Duskblood takes place. There are more traditional Gothic and Victorian style maps, as well as those depicting the closing years of the early modern period, like the one glimpse in the trailer with the train running through it. So pretty much, it sounds like I seen another YouTuber say this, so I don't want to take it what he said, but this is it kind of comes off like this. He kind of compared it to Mortal Kombat. Y'all know the story of hopefully y'all know the story of Mortal Kombat, but I know the story of Mortal Kombat through and through because I'm a diehard fan. Pretty much the story of Mortal Kombat is this: a bunch of warriors come to an island. They all been summoned to fight, and I don't think there's a wish. I'm like, what is the winner get at the end of Mortal Kombat? They never really said. They just said that if the realm loses a consecutive many Mortal Kombat tournaments, their realm is allowed to be taken over. So for example, our world beat Edenia 10 times, so that means our world was allowed to merge Edenia into our world. And the same thing was going to happen in Earth realm, but since Liu Kang came around and stopped it from happening, boom bam thank you ma'am. So he became Earth's champion, Mortal Kombat champion. He stopped Shao Kahn. It kind of sounds like that. They all came to this one spot and they're all like, hey, what's it called, the First Blood. Everybody wants to own the First Blood, so they have to battle to the death to see who can be number one and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of reminds you of a normal fighting tournament. Everybody gathers in one spot. Everybody has their reasonings for being there, but the main thing is they want the First Blood, and that's what they want. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. The Duskbloods director refers to the Bloodsworn themselves. As mentioned earlier, the Bloodsworn are summoned to the Twilight of Humanity in a battle for the First Blood. Duskblood is a collective term for these characters controlled by the player. So, as like I said, there's going to be characters that was already made. There's going to be characters that that predetermined already. So it's not like you get to create a character or anything like that. They will already have characters for you. Now they did say you will get to customize them to a certain point to where how you like them, but it's not like how like on Elder Ring you start off scratch and you create your own character, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty much going like how Night Ring is, how like they have already characters set. Same thing will be with this game as well. I think they said there's 12 out the gate and so on and so forth. So, but those are the big, chunky wonky parts of his interview that I thought that you guys would probably want to hear about, especially the whole multiplayer part, saying that the next game they put out might not even be a multiplayer game, it might just be a single player solo dolo type game to where you ain't even got to worry about somebody coming in your game. It's just you and you alone, or it could be a co-op game. We don't know, but he made it clear that this is not gonna be the future of From Software, which I'm glad he said that, because a lot of people, take what they see and they just run with it and they automatically think that's facts when it's really not. Just let them cook. It's what they're pretty much what I'm getting at. Let them cook. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Man, I'm still looking forward to this game. A little bummed out that the PvPvE is a thing, and that hopefully you can turn it off and you can probably do single player by yourself, but I highly doubt that. This is a game geared towards multiplayer, so I doubt that'll be something that you can do. And I do see that it has turned off a lot of people. So hey, to each his own. Some people like multiplayer games, some people don't. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for y'all. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. But I'll be doing more Duskblood videos as time goes on and more information drops. But other than that, I love y'all. Take care. Peace.